from 5.59% down to 4.99%. That's
a big
cut.
A big cut
to just, and then your qualification is impacted accordingly.
Yeah.
Right. So that's about a $25,000 difference in mortgage amount that you can borrow.
Yeah.
It's also like a $200 a month difference in your payment. Right. So for people to be like, it's not, I want a 1% drop, I'm going to wait till it gets down. There's already a big difference from a month ago to now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bottom Line Podcast. This is episode 5. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. We hope everybody's doing well. And thank you for tuning in. I'm here with Tony from Catalano Mortgages, Sherwood Mortgage Group.
Yes, sir.
And we have Mike over here.
Hello, everyone.
With Remax and Dandel, of course. Thank you again for tuning in. And we're here to bring you guys some fantastic content, like always, obviously. And today's topic mainly is going to be about the current climate of the real estate market. And we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates as well, because obviously things have definitely been chaotic, to say the least, over the last few months. So we're definitely here to bring you up to speed on what's been happening and also how we're looking for the month of December. So it's going to be a fun-filled episode with a lot of information, and we can't wait to get started. So without further ado, it's been a minute, right, boys?
It's been a while. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus, I guess you could say, for a while, but not too long.
Not too long.
We don't go on any vacations or anything.
No vacations.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We don't go to Italy.
We'll get into that.
Like that.
It's been long enough for us to get back on the mics, right?
Yeah. I feel recharged, ready to go. I'm good.
Yeah. A lot of big changes since, too.
A lot of big changes.
Lots to talk about.
Yeah, and I guess let's just jump right into it. We're going to talk about what happened this fall in the real estate market. So we'll start off maybe with Tony. We'll talk about what happened with interest rates and how are things looking on the mortgage side for
how things are looking or how
things were looking. Let's start with
like this last little while in the fall. We definitely saw everything just like in your industry, things slowing down. Not as much action as before, but there's still those mortgages that were up for renewal, people who were closing still on pre-cons. And there was still people who were, making purchases, resales and stuff like that, but, and needed a mortgage. Right. So, a lot of stuff was happening on the B side, happening in the private sector, all kinds of, those private lenders, really, really, had a good year compared to the past, because a lot of people had no other option, right, in terms of qualifying at the bank. People who had to close on their pre-cons this past fall, unfortunately, they were,
it was tough.
They just had no other choice but to take what was available, right? Even if you did qualify, the rates weren't good quality rates, or low rates that everybody's used to. So we kind of really, really saw the 3-year product get pushed a lot.
And you did that for us a couple of times with a couple of our clients.
Yeah, it was the 3-year because people, they wanted some stability, some security, but also weren't sure how quickly rates would come down. And the way we kind of were positioning it was that, maybe at that 1.5 year point, we can revisit and see what's going to happen. Because even if rates do drop, which now we know is the forecast, it may not happen all that quickly. It may take a year and a bit, right? And then that puts them in a more optimal position. The 3-year was big, and on the B side, the 1 and 2 year terms.
I was going to ask you, Tony, why were they kind of having to be pushed to the B instead of the big banks? Let's say, like, what was the main?
Well, just rates were too high and people weren't qualifying the traditional way, right? So.
Was it because like the valuations of their house were
we could get into that. The mortgage approvals were based on the appraised value, right? So your purchase price
irrelevant,
right? We have some lenders, or which we can speak to people if required, that do appraised value. It comes at a price, but purchase price, not appraised. but the actual qualification is based off of that appraised value. So if your appraisal's coming in 300, 400K under purchase price,
Yeah.
we're
You
in
had to
some
put 'em with
trouble,
a-
and we have to put some. We need some alternative lending options, right? So that's the main reason that we kind of saw a lot of people have to go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say there was a pretty rocky time this fall for
100%.
people who are trying to get a mortgage, people who are trying to sell properties, or even people
Yeah.
who are trying to close pre-con, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And we saw it a lot too with our clients, right?
Yeah.
In terms of, our benefit was we had a lot of buyer clients.
Yeah, we had a lot of people on the
through this
sideline
fall. So
since COVID, really.
Yeah, we had a lot of people waiting on the sideline that jumped in, which
It was great for them.
Yeah,
They did really well,
fantastic
yeah.
in that end, right? And we saw a big change in inventory as well, Mike. If you can talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, inventory, we were at 22,000 at a point and
Yeah.
slowly declining.
Yeah.
We were much lower. We started at what, Lou? 15, and then we saw the spike after 15 became 16, 17,
Quick.
18.
Yeah.
And it went up, fairly quick.
Yeah. And that's
So-
probably one of the main, definitely one of the driving factors of why things were moving so incredibly slow in the fall.
lot of
Inventory,
options.
inventory was sky high. And it's simple, right? When people have options, obviously they're going to definitely explore those options,
Of
right?
course.
They're not stuck to one property. If you don't like their offer, we just move on and we go to another property, right?
And what made it worse at that time was the buyers' expectations were still extremely high.
Yes.
And the people that were trying to buy really wanted a deal. So you have that big
It's a gap,
Yeah,
right? It's a
yeah,
fine
that's
line
right. It
trying
was-
to,
Juxtaposition.
yeah.
That's where
negotiating
that's
was
going.
interesting.
Well, bringing buyers, you're trying to bring sellers to where buyers are thinking, right? And sometimes there's a market for where sellers are saying, yeah, there's no way I'm selling for that low,
Yeah.
no matter what the situation is. And then there's buyers on the other side saying, there's no way I'm coming up
Yeah.
that high in this market.
There's a
right?
big disconnect
Yeah.
in that regard,
Yeah.
and we kind of really had to navigate those
Yeah.
waters this fall.
Yeah.
On both ends. Your end, I can't even imagine. All right, trying to get somebody to understand that their house is worth,
Yeah.
a lot less than what they think in their mind, right? And on my end, people thinking like, oh, you could do better on that rate. No,
Yeah.
we that's where we're at. All right. Oh, I was paying 2%. Yeah, that's not where we're at right now, right? So
Yeah, we had one client that, we had a couple clients that benefited from this fall market because of the volatility of it. But we had one client in particular that we just got out of her condo townhouse just in the nick of time. It was in September. It was just when fall was starting. I'd say mid-September. Just got out before inventory started really shooting up, and it proved to be fantastic for her. We sold it with a great number, and she was able to get out, and she ended up purchasing a couple weeks back now, at the end of fall, and she was able to really benefit from that increase in inventory, let's call it, because the inventory was not that high when she sold.
When she sold, there was maybe 16, 17.
Yeah, I would say around 16, 17. I think you're right. And when she purchased, we were at around 21,000. So it really gave her that negotiating power, right?
nice.
And it worked out well for her. And she took our advice, which is fantastic. And, we're so grateful that she took our advice because now she's really reaping the rewards from it. And I'll probably get into that story a little later on in the episode, and we'll talk about exactly what happened there. But we also had another client as well that purchased a condo unit, just to give everybody some context of how great the market was for buyers. And it still is, but how great it actually was. We had a client who purchased a condo in Etobicoke, lowest resale price ever in that building
Wow.
for a unit, ever.
And it goes to show you, it's not just, everyone thinks it's maybe just homes. It's not homes that's affected by this. The condos are affected too, right? So
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, exactly. Right. It goes condos, cottages, homes, townhomes. Doesn't
Right.
matter, right?
Mhm.
Everything goes up together. Everything comes down together. Obviously, within reason.
Mhm.
Some things a little bit more. Obviously, some things will have a little bit more demand than others.
Yeah.
But we had a client that purchased, big score, lowest
did
resale
well.
ever in a building, which is, you can't ask for anything better than that.
No, I know,
You're at the
that's-
bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
You can't ask and for anything better than that. But yeah, so we'll probably get into the story about our client and how she benefited from that sale and purchase. We'll talk about that a little later on. I really wanted to touch upon with both of you guys about the BOC came out with their announcement. They held rates,
Yep.
Inflation rates. A lot of people are talking about this, and rightfully so, right? This is kind of what's dictating the Canadian market. Our market is is big on housing, right? Our Canadian market, we rely on housing, so everybody watches these rates, watches these announcements, and they analyze, right? So I wanted to talk to you, obviously, of course, of how you analyzed that last Bank of Canada rate announcement and rate hold.
Yeah, so everybody was kind of expecting this, right? It was a consensus after the CPI report came out, inflation down to 3.1%. Everybody was like, okay, it's going to be a hold, and let's zero in, let's listen in on the language now.
Yeah.
Right? Because the last hike was back in July, right? Where they hiked it 1/4 of a point, but then they held it in September, they held it in October, and they held it again just now in December. They said, we are resolute in bringing inflation down to 2%, and we won't hesitate to increase.
They keep saying it
interest rates
at the end,
right?
Yeah.
So they always add that in,
resolute,
still, right?
Yeah.
So
and we talk about it every announcement. We send it to each other. We chat
it's
about it.
Did you
still
see that
there.
last line?
That's
It's
the
right
key.
there.
So they're not flat out coming and saying this is the end. We will not, right? They're saying if inflation becomes sticky, and
We're not scared.
and core inflation doesn't actually come down, because that headline inflation is that 3.1. Core inflation is actually higher than that. If it doesn't continue to come down, they won't hesitate to increase rates again.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, it's probably going to be a period of stagnation when it comes to these rates. They're going to hold them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I read one economist report saying that 40% of these rate hikes that have occurred, have not fully taken effect yet.
Yeah.
They still
People
have
are
yet
still
to
feeling
take
it.
effect. We have not felt the effects of those rate hikes yet. So
Is there like a stat about how many mortgage renewals there are next year? Do you know, Tony?
50% of all mortgages are coming up for renewal in 2024, 2025,
And 2026, right?
2026.
Yeah.
I feel the heat.
That's a lot.
They're gonna feel it.
It's coming, right? And we'll be there to support any and all clients that require assistance at renewal.
If you need to do a
right?
reverse
If you
mortgage,
need to do anything of that nature. But it's chaos, and people are going to feel that payment shock if these interest rates don't come down. But like I alluded to, all these chief economists, right? We were just at a summit a few weeks ago. Chief economists from TD saying they're expecting, a big drop in 2024, 1 point at least. Some guys are coming in 2 points. One article yesterday from CIBC economists saying a point and a half. Like,
so majority predictions are they're going to come down.
2024 drop as early as quarter 2, which is the month of April, right? So
Yeah.
it's looking good in that respect, right, with the BOC, and hopefully inflation does come down, right, because cost of living for everyone, every single thing, right, whether it's water, whether it's Starbucks, whether it's your Christmas dinner, it's expensive. It's very expensive. So people are who are in that variable rate, if you've survived and you've held on till now,
Good job.
Good for you.
It was tough.
Well done.
Yeah.
Right,
You're not out of the woods yet,
Kudos to
but
all of us. You're not out of the woods yet, exactly. But there is a light at the end of the
that's
tunnel.
exactly,
There is
yeah.
a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So hang on if you've held on.
there
this long.
always was a light, but we can kind of see it flickering now a little bit, right? Is that what it is?
I could see it like I can almost see it shining.
There's always a light at the
I
end
can
of the
almost see
tunnel.
it
is
shining.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's just how
But
faint
sometimes,
it is.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely in focus right now. It's definitely in focus right now, and you can make a beeline for it. This year you should see some dramatic relief. So just keep hanging on, and
It's going to be interesting for the home prices, because if you're saying the rates are coming
those
down,
rates come down.
the properties, we went from 22 to 17, right? Inventory is dropping too. So
yeah, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? We watch the market daily, hourly, almost, right? And we're big stats guys in that sense. So we really like to look at the numbers and see what's happening.
Yeah.
And we see inventory dropping daily, right? And I think at the end of the day, if inventory is dropping and rates start to drop, right? Maybe in March, April, like some chief economists are suggesting. We don't know. Obviously, this is all hearsay, I guess, but obviously there's data to back it up.
Yeah. It's forecasting.
It's forecasting.
Yeah, based off of data.
If those things happen, then Definitely. There's going to be a 2024 market in the second half of the year that should take off.
That's spring market, I believe.
Spring
call it the
market.
spring
Well,
market.
spring is
Yeah.
spring to summer. Yeah.
Last time
Well,
I had
I guess
summer.
it depends when the rates come
Yeah.
down and with the inventory, right? It's
Yeah.
going to definitely, and those aren't the only two factors that
But they're pretty influential.
go into that.
They're
But
pretty influential.
what I wanted to touch on two things. One, we talked about like 6 months ago. I would say if you asked Mike and I what is going to happen with the rates, we probably would have said they would have went up one more time.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought they were going to go up one more time.
Yeah. We did say that. We said probably one more time. And we thought maybe in December that's when it was, but
Yeah.
we definitely changed our minds once we saw what was happening in the fall, right?
Mhm.
And we think, I don't know if you can speak to this too, but we think that because of the pullback in the market in the fall, because of that huge pullback,
It's a pause, really.
they probably said, yeah, no, we can't raise rates again because now people were losing confidence, right?
Yeah.
And
sorry.
No, go ahead.
The main reason why they increased those rates is to curb spending.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it takes time for them to take effect. We said 40% of those interest rates hikes have not taken effect yet, but people are feeling it.
Yeah.
Okay. People are feeling it, and the pinch is there.
Yeah.
And spending, has been curbed. A lot of people are pushing things towards credit. Don't get me wrong. Like, we're at all-time highs in terms of credit card debt.
Yeah.
Both here and in the States. But in terms of the impact on and using the interest rate hikes as a way to curb inflation and curb spending, it's working. Right?
Yeah.
It's working.
What's scary too is that stat that you said earlier about 50% of mortgage renewals are coming up by 2026. That can go two ways. That can go very, very well, because if the rates do come down, like you said, then people can definitely lock in, time in.
Yeah.
But if these rates stay elevated, which we predict that they're not supposed to stay elevated, this is the forecasting, right? But if they did stay elevated into 2026, it could be very dangerous times, obviously, right?
Those people that locked in at 2%.
Yeah, these are
Those
people.
$1.5 million homes.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it gets dangerous,
They're going to feel it.
Yeah. There's to kind of talk about what's happening already and how we're seeing the forecast and rates coming down. This market that we're in, right? This current state of economy that we're in, our bond yields, which dictate the fixed rate market, have come down dramatically, and we've seen rates begin to drop. The fixed rates have been dropping steadily for like the last 2 months, little by little. We get those updates from lenders. But lately, with that bond yield just plummeting, taking a nosedive, we got rate cut from one lender, then another lender, then another lender, then another lender. Okay, they cut it a nice amount. Then a few days later, another cut, right? So right now we're sitting on some rates on the insured side. Start with a 4.99%.
Compared to where they were, right?
That's pretty good. You sent us that the other day. We said to ourselves, like, whoa, that's... Right, we haven't seen that number in a while, right?
Last time you heard 4 was in the summer when we were playing golf, right?
Good times.
4,
Good
right? So
double bogey.
Yeah, you're waiting for that one, right?
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good news. It's a good.
It's a good time for Christmas.
Yeah,
get those extra gifts now. It's okay.
Well, now that we're chatting about where rates are now, let's talk about the current climate of the market. Because we did talk about how it was in the fall.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how it's looking in December. Because definitely things are starting to turn, I think. And I don't know if you can speak to anything about it, Mike. What do you think what's happening right now? Or what do you see, at least, what's happening in the market for December?
Yeah, well, I'm seeing December right now. It's kind of, the market's on a pause, I feel like. There's still those deals to be found in terms of buyers wanting to buy. But again, because the inventory is coming down, things are kind of quiet right now.
It's the holidays, right?
It's the holidays.
Yeah.
So I expect it to pick up in the new year, after the new year, right? Maybe around February. But what about you, Lynn? What do you think?
Yeah, no, and the way I look at it, I just look for opportunities at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot of people that are waiting on the sideline right now. And if rates start to come down like they say they are in March and April, and inventory stays at this level or maybe drops a little bit more, then it might be too late for some people to buy. It's time that, you can never time the market. The old saying is, you only know the bottom of the market when it's on its way up, right? At the end of the day. But if you're looking to try to time it as best as you can, right? That's a good one, eh?
That's
a good one.
I'm taking that.
I didn't. That's not me though. I gotta find. I gotta source that one. We'll source it after.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, what was I saying? Sorry.
No, it might be
It
it
gives me
may
the
be
best
too
time.
late.
Yeah,
It
it may be too late at the end of the day, because we have people that are, sitting on the sidelines with money, which is fantastic, looking to buy maybe a first time property, maybe buy an investment. Now's the time.
Yeah,
Not a lot of
it
people
might
are,
start going up.
yeah, and not a lot of people are looking right now, especially during
Yeah.
the holidays. Not a lot of people are looking. Everybody's trying to enjoy
Buy a house for Christmas.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I like it.
Can we
I
wrap
like
it and put it under the
up,
tree?
Wrap
Yeah.
it up.
Can get a little ornament and put it on the tree.
I
Sold.
think honestly, you make a really good point, because a lot of people are waiting for that deal, right, and whatnot, and they think, and people just like, I think we touched on this in a previous episode. A 20% discount is great.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy and
huge.
wait for a 25% discount, and then you missed out on that 20, and now it's only going to
Especially
be
when
15.
we're talking about $1 million home here.
Yeah.
It's not like the properties are 400,000. You're getting 20%
Exactly.
off. You're talking about like million plus.
Yeah.
And
It's a
200 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge.
and 200 grand, 100 grand, all these values are all relative, right? They
Yeah.
all make an influence on the borrower's situation and my situation, in my respect. Sorry. So, for example, with these rates coming down, like we've mentioned at 4.9%, right, from 5.59% down to 4.99%, that's
It's a big
a
cut
big cut.
to just,
And then your qualification is
Mhm.
impacted accordingly.
yeah.
Right. So that's about a $25,000 difference in mortgage amount that you can borrow.
Yeah.
It's also like a $200 a month difference in your payment. Right. So for people to be like, it's not, I want a 1% drop, I'm going to wait till it gets down. There's already a big difference from a month ago to now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So
Changes very fast.
it's a very volatile market right now, I'd say. We don't know how as quickly as it went up, right? There's some people who are believers that it will come down even faster.
What goes up must come down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Newton's law.
That's good. I'm gonna write that
Write that one down.
too.
That's another one. That one we know the source. That
Sir,
one.
Sir Isaac.
Sir
Yeah.
Isaac. Yeah.
Nice.
No, and the old saying too. I'll give you another one. I'll give you.
Louis
I'll give you another one.
Sayings, let's
Well,
go.
when people are scared, that's when you buy. At the end of the
Okay,
day,
scared,
right?
buy.
When
Scared
people are
and you
scared,
buy.
that's when you buy.
Buy.
Yeah, put that one in
Okay.
the book. Are we writing a book anytime soon? Maybe
We
We have
we'll
another
write
one. Cash is king. You want to throw that one in there too?
Yeah, buddy. You got to sit on that, stack your racks.
We'll write a
What do you
book.
want me to say here?
So yeah, and at the end of the day, we had I'll go into that story that we were talking about earlier. We had a client who really benefited from
Story
all
time.
of that.
Story
Yeah,
time.
Story time.
Story time.
Story
Dun,
time.
dun, dun, dun. We had a client who, like we said earlier, sold her condo town,
Yes, you did.
and now she purchased a home, a beautiful detached home, absolutely gorgeous. That was priced a little high, but she stuck to her guns with her number. And she stayed within her budget. She didn't get emotional about it at all, which is fantastic. And there was one little thing that I think really helped us. And a lot of people talk about this, but don't actually give it a lot of credit. She wrote a letter to the seller, and a lot of people say, "Oh, writing a letter to the seller, who cares?" At the end of the day, right? You write a letter,
Yeah,
it's
people
a
are like,
number.
It's all
at the
about
end
the
of day.
number.
It
right?
is,
Well,
and it
matters.
is 100%. It's always about the number. There's a certain threshold that you're not going to sell under, right?
Yeah.
But
In this market, I don't know how many numbers are coming your way.
Yeah.
How many numbers are actually coming to you?
I
right?
can confidently say this letter definitely helped her secure this property.
It was influential.
Well
Yeah.
written.
Yeah. Oh, well written. We ended up, so this property, just to give you some context, it was listed under $1 million. So it wasn't $1 million. And she ended up purchasing it for 120 grand under the list price. I won't give away too many numbers, but just to give you guys some context, only because you can see what the percentage is there, right? We're listed under $1 million. She purchased for 120 grand under asking price. So you're probably around 15% under asking price, which is big, very, very big in terms of a spread. And I would say it took about 2 weeks of negotiations.
Wow.
And or maybe even about 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, something
about
like
2
that.
weeks.
And we stuck with our number, and the letter really helped because it resonated with the seller.
Yeah.
And there was another offer that was stronger than ours, believe it or not. And people think that's nuts to hear.
Wow.
But there was another offer
Substantially.
substantially stronger than ours, but maybe about
We're not-
25, 30 grand
We're
more.
not talking about $500 here.
Yeah.
Was there
you know,
like a condition? Like you guys have like no conditions?
we
or
had-
something, or
no.
was it just this letter?
No, we had all our conditions.
they were all in
we
there.
protected our buyer 100%. We
Wow.
had, we had inspections, we had water tests, we had
Wet
financing,
inspection.
we had one. Yeah, we had everything in there. Absolutely. We even had conditions to see their heat and energy bills before we ended up going firm on the property, because we wanted to know absolutely every aspect of that purchase. But before we went through with it, obviously, because we wanted to make sure our buyer was protected. But what I'm trying to say is the human connection here, it matters, especially in a time like this where things are so volatile. A lot of people are, minds are racing right now. A lot of people are thinking about a lot of things. And sometimes that human connection can really bring two people together, and they can come to an agreement and settle on a number that works for both. And that's exactly what happened. This seller and this buyer, they felt like they were like friends, and they've never spoke before in their lives. They just wrote a couple of words back and forth to each other, and it ended up proving very, very beneficial. Yeah. And credit to the other realtor that we were working with too. She was first class. She was great at her job. But when you have people working together, sometimes those letters, they sound crazy sometimes, but they work.
Power of the pen.
The power of the pen. Yeah. Bic. What do we got here? No, Papermate. Pretty good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Can I bounce off that?
Yeah.
You said you had all the conditions in there. In this type of market, are there additional conditions that you guys add in or take out, or any what type of conditions are we putting in for our buyers and sellers?
One big thing that I've noticed, we haven't done it for any of our clients yet, is this escape clause.
Escape clause?
Yeah. Which is where you want to purchase a house, but you put in a condition where it's based off of you selling your house.
Yeah.
For a certain amount as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of.
Go ahead.
No, you got it. Sorry.
No, so as long as you get the number that you're asking for, right, and you sell it, then you can go ahead with the purchase of the new property. Yeah. If you don't get what you want, you can back out of the deal that you had to purchase the property.
So you've been at is that something that's not common?
It's not usually common, definitely when it's a
hot market.
It's a hot market, yeah.
They'll be like, no, we're not.
Who's accepting that in a hot market, right?
But just go to the next person.
Yeah, but it's definitely something you can put in now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people will work with it, because if they get the number they want, they'll say, okay, I'll wait for you to try to sell your house, obviously. And then it allows you to, there's a certain time frame on it, obviously. Okay. But, there can be conditions on anything.
Of course. I'm just saying, based off of this
current climate,
climate we're in,
compared to before.
Well, if you're buying a house right now and you're not.
What's one that you say, throw it in for sure?
Financing, 1,000,000%. Yeah.
Home inspection. Yeah. You can throw in every single time right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this goes back to our buyers being, protected always when they're purchasing. In a hot market, what we would do is we'd probably do a home inspection before we put in an offer, so that once we see the home inspection, we're satisfactory with it, we can go in and say, hey, we don't need a home inspection. Here's our offer. We don't need to make it conditional on a home inspection. And that will definitely strengthen your offer, right? But in a condition or in a market climate like this, you can put in your home inspection. You can put in your financing. Oh, yeah. You can put in really
anything,
just about anything you want. Yeah, you're limitless.
Yeah. You're not getting multiple offers anymore. You're not getting, 10, 15 offers before. You're getting one offer, so they need to view it, and whatever.
Now basically can't be choosers.
Yeah,
beggars can't be choosers. Write it down.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Listen, it's worth noting that if you have a good product and you're priced, chapter 5. If you have a good price, if you have a good product and you're priced right, you're gonna sell, especially in the GTA. Yeah. Right, you're gonna sell. What's so funny?
Oh no, hot.
Nothing. Okay,
price
good.
Right.
The price is right.
Yeah. So it's worth noting that for sure. But when purchasing a property right now, buyers, this is why we're talking to all of our clients. Like, hey, now's the time to, you can get your conditions in that you want to get in. You can get in your inspections. We can take our time and do our due diligence with everything.
I'm gonna say something. One condition that we can make sure we alleviate financing. I could take care of it. We can make it unconditional.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we do, right? We bring you our clients to pre-approve them because
Best thing.
In a market like this, some people are trying to get approved at what's the stress test? Upwards of 9 or.
Well, on the B side.
On the B side.
The B side, right? On the A side, you could see stress tests in the 8s, right?
In the 8s, yeah.
Uninsured or still in the low 6, like 6.4, 0.04. So you're qualifying at 8.04%.
And even the clients that you're pre-approving, we're still putting in financing conditions because we
things
can.
could change,
Yeah.
and why not?
Why not, right?
Throw it in if you can, but
Yeah.
if you want to, you don't have to, because we always get it done.
Absolutely. I think with that, let's get to everybody's favorite part of the episode.
The bottom line.
The bottom line. Yeah. So,
Right, though.
yeah, I would say, actually, you know what? Let me pass it to Tony first.
Yeah.
Let's give Tony the first bottom line.
First bottom line.
First
I
bottom
was
line.
going to get my note. I was going to review. My bottom line was going to be to
You
review
got some
all of the notes,
there, eh? Wow.
all the quotes,
Wow.
all the
Spark notes.
sayings,
The notes, the quotes.
the notes, the quotes, the boats,
All
everything.
of them.
No, my bottom line is that the current climate that we're in is very promising. It's our holiday episode, and I think that everybody could really use that cheerful bit of positive news that with bond yields going down, fixed rates going down, BOC holding their rates, we have a promising new year coming in 2024. Knock on wood, whenever we got some, that nothing out of the ordinary comes in and influences the market, because based off what the current trends are showing, 2024 is going to be good for everybody. For real estate, for mortgages, for the average person. So
That's great.
brighter times ahead.
Better times ahead. Mike, what do you think?
Oh, you go ahead.
No, I got
Go
a
ahead.
good one. I got a good one. You go.
Okay. So my bottom line, I think, is maybe for the new year, I know people have their resolutions,
The best for last.
they got to, go on a diet, take up a new hobby. But I think
Go to the
one
gym,
thing,
gym
go to the gym.
memberships.
We'll get into that. Maybe looking at the market a little bit more. You go up, you wake up, you check the score app, check the Blue Jays, check the Raptors, the Leafs. Maybe just take a look at the market, see what's going on, because things change very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's not like things are staying on pause for 6 months. They're changing weekly.
Yeah.
And
So making that their New Year's resolution. I like that.
Yeah.
and I think they're going to continue
Giving
to
people the
change.
challenge.
Yeah.
Change.
They're going
Change
to
is good.
continue to change quickly in
If it doesn't
2024,
Yeah,
like
challenge
you
you,
said,
it
right?
doesn't change you.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one too. Write it down.
And I have one more thing to add. We're gonna, based on our feedback on the podcast, one of the things that I got a lot was talk more about other agents. This pen just exploded.
That's okay.
And
Like the podcast.
it's gonna happen right now. So I'm gonna create something called the red flag realtor. Okay.
Nice.
Red flag realtor. So things you might see in a realtor that could be a red flag.
Oh, okay. I like
No,
that.
I like that.
This
Okay.
could be a segment, I feel
Yeah.
like, the red flag realtor, right? We
Might
might
work.
have to look into that,
Hashtag.
boys?
I like that. Yeah, red
a
flag
good idea.
realtor is a good idea. So we got story time, we got bottom line, and we got red flag realtor. That's
It's good.
one that's gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys say that one.
I think your
Okay.
bottom lines were so good. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to have a bottom line. I'm just going to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody that we know, our family, our friends,
That's
our
good.
clients,
Absolutely.
all of
Bon
our
Natal.
listeners and viewers. We hope everybody has fantastic holiday, restful and full of wealth. So with that being said, we will see you on episode 6. Thank you so much for tuning into the Bottom Line podcast, and have a wonderful holiday season. Take care.
Merry Christmas.